Uh, this video will be going over the continuation of the csharp.net video tutorials. So we'll be talking about storing class type objects in arrays and lists. So in the last video we talked about storing class type objects in arrays. We'll be doing, we'll be storing, so not arrays, so we just did arrays, that's in the last video in my C# playlist on my channel, csharp.net. Pretty much in this video we'll be going over lists of class type objects, so they're similar to arrays. I think they're actually just a tiny bit easier to work with. Lists are usually easier to work with than arrays. So lists are they're just meant to be easier to work with than the array data structure. Excuse me. Okay, so let's continue with the lists of class type objects. Okay, so lists of class type objects are basically just, so class type objects, that's what they're called. So class type objects are basically objects, so they're objects that are of type class. So for example, if you've seen any of the previous tutorials, so I'd recommend watching from the start of the playlist. So we discussed the list class, which is a container for storing. So before we talked about, so we discussed the list class, which is a container for storing a collection of objects. So that's the definition in C#. A list is usually just a data structure for storing objects. So that's pretty much it. So here's an example of how you would create a list that can hold a cell phone, or that can hold cell phone objects. So for example, so we can pretend, so let's just go back up here for a sec. I know these are arrays, so just back to this message here, assume a class cell phone. So let's assume that we have a class named cell phone that's all set up. If you're interested in that class, it'll be in the playlist a few videos before this one. Something about objects and classes, or about classes and objects, something like that. Okay, so here let's show how we can instantiate a list of type cell phone objects, so we can say that we have a list. And remember, in a list we're going to have to include angular brackets. I'm not sure why we do that. It's just, I guess that's just a way to differentiate them from, for example, arrays, which use this type of data structure. So they just use angular brackets. That's just the way it is. So lists are often based on arrays or pointers, so it just depends. So for example, here we can have a list of type cell phone. We can call it list. Okay, so yeah, so we'll just go with list just to keep it easy. So we can have then, so we go new to points to new, and then we go list of type cell phone. So this will be a test question. If you're taking this in university, they'll ask you to instantiate a list of object types, or just any kind of type, or both. Okay, so this statement creates a list object referenced by the list variable, or object reference variable. So you can here's the type. Because just have a look at a normal list. So we want a normal list of, for example, strings. So we go list of type string, str list, for example, points a new list of type string, like that. So that's how you do a normal list of type strings. Well, in this case, we don't want a string object. We want the type to be a cell phone object. So in this type, in this case, we just pass the cell phone class. Because remember, assume that we have a cell phone class up here. Let me just copy that maybe. And I'll just put it down here, so we can assume that we have a class cell phone, or basically a class of type cell phone. So you can also create a list of struct objects. I think those are just a bit more confusing than these ones. We've gone over that. That might be the most advanced thing that we've done so far. Yeah, so the structure objects are a little confusing because once again they're just native to C, just a C language. They don't have those in Java. They don't have those in like what else? Python. They don't have those in. I don't think they have structs in. Only I believe only C really has structs, or at least basically the common languages. Okay, so we have that. So this statement creates a list object referenced by the list variable, object reference variable. So the cell phone is written inside the angular brackets. So this specifies that the list object can hold, or sorry, the list class object can hold objects of type cell phone. So here we're calling it's kind of like, it's tricky because so when this was created, it's basically the list itself is the data structure. So I've done data structure videos. If you're interested in those, it's in Java. It's similar to C#. It's pretty much the same thing. I'm going to give you my honest opinion. It's almost the exact same language, just a few differences, minus a couple things here and there, like properties and all that, structs and different things like that. But pretty much here, it's the exact same thing. So you can see how a list is created. If you're interested, it's on my playlist. Like, you'll create a list yourself, which is tricky. They're long codes, anywhere from 3,000 to 5,000 lines. I mean, it's nothing crazy. It's not nothing crazy, but it's those videos can go up to 8 hours long, or more, maybe 8 to 10 hours. To do the whole thing, it's a long process. It's I devote like 80 hours to learning the whole thing. You can do it 80 hours. You can do it in a week, 5 hours a day or something. Well, maybe 2 weeks, but. So check it out. It's on my playlist if you're interested. It's really in-depth. University data structures, it's all there. If you're interested on how the list is created. Okay, so to add an object to a list, you can use the add method. So we can basically, we've seen this before. So we can use the add method, so we can instantiate a list of type cell phone, which you already did. So we have list of type cell phone, list points to new list of type cell phone. So on top of that, we can instantiate an instance of the cell phone class. So I missed this in the array part, but remember, you can always just point, instead of instantiating objects like this in each index, you can just instantiate a cell phone. Like, you can just go cell phone object points to new cell phone, like that. And we're not going to point that to an index. Instead, what we could do is that we could just say that, for example, if we had more indexes in this array, so for example, we could just change the size to 4 here. So let's say that we just had 4, and then in this case we could go cell phone. So we called it cell phone array. That's the name up here. I know someone's like, well, we were just talking about lists. Why is this guy going all back to arrays? I'm sorry, I'm just trying to show you one thing that I missed in the last video. It's going to be relevant to a list as well. So for example, here we could just go cell phone object. So cell phone object, actually no, sorry. So here we change the size from 3 to 4. Now we have an extra index, so here we could go, for example, cell phone array. Array index 3 points to cell phone object, like that. That should work because it's the same type. Okay, so now here, back to lists. We're going to do the same thing here pretty much. So it's almost the exact same concept. We're just going to add, instead of just pointing an index to it, we can just add it using the add method, which in the back end, back to arrays for a sec. Someone's like, well, what the hell is he going back to arrays? I know, I'm sorry. So pretty much in the back end, for example, of an array list, there is this is happening. There'll be like a public void add method, and it's going to take some kind of type. They'll probably be overloaded to take different types. Then, for example, if you want to add something, say that it adds an int, or you could say that it adds an object. Object of type generic or something. Then that it could be object like this. Then in the method, for example here, then we would just say, okay, well, we're going to loop through and see what index is available, or you just say, okay, well, cell phone array. Let's pretend we had a loop and it found which spot to add the element, then we'll just go, okay, well, cell phone array of index I is free, so we'll just point obj to that index. That's all it is. That's all the add method is if it's an array list. So basically here, the add method is just that. But if it's using pointers, then it's going to have a pointer, which is a bit different. But in this case, so we could just go here, for example. We could instantiate a cell phone object again, so we could go cell phone. Cell phone, let's just go with cell phone obj again. Actually, maybe that's too long. Let's just go with phone this time. So cell phone, wants a new cell phone. So we instantiated our cell phone object. Then here we could pretend that we have the properties. So we could go, okay, well, we have, for example, phone dot brand. I've done this class with the properties. Everything was all set up in one of the last few videos. So you can check that out. I believe I did them yesterday, so it would be a few videos back. So here we could go, for example, phone.brand points to, I don't know, we could just go to like Samsung or something. And here, for example, we could go phone.model points to, I don't know, whatever it is, A5. Or no, A9. Something like that, and then we could go, just say that it's an A9 Galaxy. Okay, so then here we could have, for example, that we have phone.price, so we could just say, okay, well, the price is, for example, I'll just say that it's like $500, so we'll just go like that. So this was an int, so we don't need any decimals or any m's or anything, so these are all the properties set up for the object. Properties have a backing field, so we did this. It's pretty easy to set up. It's just native to C#, but it's not that hard to set it up. So if you're interested in how to create a property, I have a really good video on it. It'll be in the playlist. Okay, so then after that we can just reference our list here. So we can say, okay, we want to call our list, and then say that we want to add, call the add method, and what do we want to add? We want to add the phone, like that. That's it. And it's going to add the phone to the list in its first index, because it's the same type, so it's able to add, because phone's of type cell phone and the list is of type cell phone as well. Okay, so let's go on. Is that actually all I have? Okay, so that's actually all that we have here. So in the next video I'll have to set up a form for the lab, because coding will take coding the layout and all that, which we will do in the future. We've done some of it so far. We'll be doing a layout lab still coming up, probably at the end, so in two more chapters. So we'll be doing a lab to practice object, so structure, object, no sorry, not structure, array objects, and so basically storing class type objects in arrays and storing class type objects in lists. So you're going to be doing a lab on that. So thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys in the next one if you're interested. So if you like the video, you can like and subscribe to support the channel for more programming and investing tutorials. I'll see you guys in the next one. It'll be in the csharp.net playlist on my channel. Hopefully I'll see you guys there. Thanks for watching. Take care. Thanks.